Hey team, welcome back. It's time to discuss grip. I want to talk about the things that I'm noticing more often, especially lately in classes and videos that I'm getting from people through the Dry Fire program, the VIP program, people that tag me on social media, whatever. So I'm watching all these different understanding of grip, all these different people understanding grip a little bit differently, even though we may have very similar or same information. So I'm going to revisit it really quick. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I'm noticing and some of the things you'll want to stay away from. All right. So everybody's now agreeing finally in 2022, 2023 that we need to be as high as possible on the beaver tail of the gun. I've talked about this in the past before. You want to be so high on the beaver tail of the gun that you start creating a fold in the skin there. That's a visual representation, a visual check that you're literally as high as you possibly can go. Because if you don't have that fold, you can still be pretty high and not really see a gap. I feel like if you're pushing into the beaver tail from the start, excuse me, you're physically as high as you can go, and you can actually see that with your eyes. Not only feel it with your hands. All right. We've talked about having some kind of contact point onto the trigger guard when you go grab the gun out of your holster. For me, it's the second knuckle on my dominant hand, middle finger. I go into the trigger guard and I stop right at the second knuckle. Now, everybody has different hand size, different grip shapes, different grip sizes. It's not the same for everybody. I'm just telling you what I do. The reason I do that is because I don't want to go over to the other side of the gun, over rotate, which is happening a lot. This is one of the reasons I bring it up. A lot of people over rotate their hand towards, if that's towards the trigger, I guess, right? And so they're rotating forward this way. The reason when they start doing that, they may still have the knuckle in the right place, but then you start leaving parts of the back strap open. I want to cover as much of the back strap, the back of the gun, as possible, because that's where the gun wants to go every time it ignites. So I tried, for me, my shape of grip and hand size and all that stuff, I stop at the second knuckle. I go for that spot. In fact, I have a gnarly callus right there, and I stop right there on the second knuckle. Right? For some of you guys, maybe you need to go a little further. For some of you guys, you maybe need to roll back. It depends on your gun and your hand size again. But have an index point where you always stop there. You always have the fold. You always stop right there. And then now I'm covering all of, notice there's nothing left. I don't know how else to show you. There's nothing left of the back strap that is uncovered. In fact, there's more hand than grip. For some of you guys that go too far, see how there's grip there that's not covered by hand? And so finding a spot on your middle finger of your dominant hand where you go into the gun and grab where the knuckle hits the trigger guard, figure out what that spot is and make it the same every time. So that's one of the first things that I'm noticing people are not doing, knowing where to contact with your middle finger. And if you don't have the same spot every single time, you'll be inconsistent with your grip. You'll love it sometimes, hate it sometimes. More importantly, you leave some of the back strap open, and when the gun wants to explode there, right, it's going to find the weakest point or the point of least resistance to kind of go towards, and you start getting weird recoil patterns. That's why you can't shoot aggressively, because the recoil pattern isn't predictable and consistent. All right, so high, got the contact point with the thumb, with the middle finger of the dominant hand, and I am leaving my thumb high, whether it's grabbing from the appendix position where I do thumb over sights. Some of you guys are not doing that, and you keep trying to go inside and scrape against your belly, or even outside the waistband. When I go grab my gun, that's how I grab my gun. If I'm scooping this way. I'm still maybe not on top, but I'm just on the side. I'm not all the way in there. I definitely do not do that, because then the thumb needs to go out of the way to create the support hand and then back. So for me, I am trying to get that middle finger, the fold in the skin, and I am trying to stay thumb high on this side. From the other side, I've talked about this ad nauseum. I do have my second knuckle where this right here on my support hand touches the same place where the middle finger of my dominant hand is. So in fact, if you look at the calluses, you probably can't see them, but the calluses on my dominant hand middle finger and the index finger on my support hand, they meet, and that's where they hold the gun. So here and there, I am meeting in the same spot. Now, that's not the same for everybody, but again, I have a very consistent spot in how I build my grip, and I don't just go for my trigger guard. I am going index finger of my support hand into the middle finger of my dominant hand, and then I rotate my hands into the grip. I've talked about this before in live classes. I've talked about this before in the Dry Fire program. If you haven't started at the beginning and watched that grip video is probably now, I don't know, 10 months old or something. Still relevant. But I wanted to give you all these updates so that I make sure that we get all the details. Like if you do BJJ, the professors are always talking about details. Here's details on this, details on that. Here's your details on the grip, all right? Index to middle finger and then rotate. Now, the rotation, right? This is one of the things that I'm seeing incorrect a lot. People are, whether you go to Scott's class and you listen to him talk about the wave.